Hi, I'm Professor Cat. Give me a couple of minutes and I'll make an ordinary moment a little more interesting. Have you ever realized there was an entire piece of history you somehow missed? That's exactly what happened to me after reading The Women by Kristen Hanna. I knew the Vietnam War happened. I knew soldiers came home carrying invisible wounds. What I didn't know was how many women served there too. Thousands of military nurses answered the call. They worked through mass casualties, bombings, and impossible decisions. They saved lives every single day. And then they came home only to have people tell them women weren't even in Vietnam. Can you imagine serving your country and then having your service denied? Professor Cat's quick tip: historical fiction is at its best when it makes you curious enough to learn what really happened. The best stories don't just entertain us, they send us looking for the truth. One thing I loved about this book was that it wasn't really about the war. It was about courage, friendship, purpose, and what happens when someone sacrifices everything yet receives very little recognition. Things humans overcomplicate. Who deserves to be called a hero? Solution? Maybe it's anyone who quietly answers the call to serve, whether the world notices it or not. If you're looking for a light beach read, this is not it. There are really difficult moments, heartbreaking moments, and topics that can be hard to read. But it's also one of the most meaningful historical novels I've read in a really long time. If you'd like to read my full review and why this book stayed with me long after I turned the last page, check out the article below. Because sometimes the most important stories are the ones history almost forgot. Stay curious, and as always, meow.